Hello, hello. Just setting things up here. All right. Let's see. We began, or I mean, we left off last time on. Well, we're in the middle of adding properties to our sort of entity data files, you could call it, for a scene. And as a side note, also, I'm gonna test out a chat here. You can see I'm using a program called Bork. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but basically it's a Zig project actually that is on GitHub as well, and just downloaded it and with git clone basically, and wrote a little script in NeoVim to open it with. Actually have a shortcut as well. Let's see if I remember what it was first time using it. Yeah, so I can type a shortcut here to open and close it. So if anyone is chatting, I can bring this up so we can get more like context on what's happening. Okay, so we'll try it out. But anyway, we're building a game editor, and we're adding a little bit of properties to our entities. So now what we've basically done, I can show you here. Let's see if I have the correct stuff up here. There we go. Or I mean, I have to source my session and I have to start the program. Let's see if it's in a startable state here. I'm not sure. I don't remember how we left it. Oh, there we go. It seems to work. And here's a scene that we have. But if we go to one of our entities, so here's an entity type, which is a button. And so here's the new thing that we're adding now. So we have properties, and here's one property. You can see the ID of the property here, and you can add more properties with this button. You can delete them, so you can add and delete. And then you have the key of the property, and then you also have the type, which you can change. So this type can be object, string, integer, float, entity reference, or asset reference. So right now this is set to entity reference, and that is supposed to reference something in a scene, like an entity in the scene. And so if we go here and select this button, we have properties here, and you can see that we have key is activated. So I should add a colon here to see, so that, yeah, it's sort of it looks weird, but I should have a colon here. But the key is activates, and the type is entity reference. And maybe I should make this like resizable on the east side here. But anyway, So the idea is that you cannot do right now is that I want to add a way to select an entity. Like I press choose entity or set entity button or something, and then we select an entity from here. We could do that. So that part I haven't really exactly figured out yet. Now the other way that you could like set stuff like that is with the asset manager, but that's only for assets. That's like static. I mean, I guess it's like how you say it, like yeah, basically files in the thing. So here we got all our entity types. Here's all the animations files, and that's an asset. So what you do then is you can grab an asset and drop it in, for example, this one, but it only accepts a scene, I think, or a time map. A time map. Yeah, you can see the icon there is the same. So you grab an icon, or I mean, you grab the asset and you drop it into this input here. So that's how you change the asset. However, for entities inside a scene, it's a bit different. So we don't really have a visual. We don't have a representation of that in here, so we can't just do that. However, maybe it would be cool if you can actually do that. But you can't just, grab this and do that, because then you're actually moving it in the editor. So I'll try to figure out what a good way of doing it will be, but in the future. But I think for now I'm just gonna have a like set, and then maybe a window opens where you can select the scene, which will default to the current scene, and then you can change the scene to another scene, and then you can also like select let's say you select this in this new window, and you click on accept or okay or something, like set this thing, and then they will be connected. So and then the property will have that ID, which, well, it's not shown here now, but all entity instances have their own ID. So this would be set to that ID, and then we know that they are connected. And then we can also show, like, if you hover over this button or something, you can see that, okay, it's connected to this door. So you can easily see in the editor which entities are connected to each other. So, and because it's a button and it's a door, you can sort of put two things together and figure out that, okay, this button opens this door. Oh, excuse. Sorry. Oh man, I just got some coffee in the yeah. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, so the editor doesn't really know that, oh, this is a button and you can push it and this door opens. It only knows that it's connected somehow. But the idea is that when you design the levels, you can easily see, okay, which thing does this go to, and then you can even maybe click a button to go to the target entity, and the other way around as well, so you can easily go to those things. So that's the idea. And once that's all in place, then we also have these two entities, which are the exit and entrance entities, and they are kind of special because they are not the same as these other entities. All of these entities share basically the same data structure and they can have custom properties. However, these two are special in that, well, they are different data structures. So they have let's say the editor is kind of aware of their data structure more. So this one, for example, the exit has a target scene, which is for this thing is the forest entrance. Oh, I haven't made that an asset input yet. Yeah, so you can drag and drop an asset here and it will change the target scene. And then you also have this entrance key, which you don't see the label here, but it says entrance key here, and that is where in the target scene this exit will lead to. So will lead it to the one called right, and then you can also click this button, which is open target scene. So you go to that scene and here is the right entrance. So this is called right. So this is connected to that other entity. And the same way with entrances, which this is an entrance, they have a key, and that's basically all it has. And it also has scale, but scale can actually be generalized to all entities. We could add the scaling property to all entities, so that because that needs a little bit of special treatment in the editor, so it can display things properly and stuff like that. So yeah, the idea is that once we have the property thing in place where you can select an entity, then we can basically make these two also basically custom entities that you create that's not really hard-coded, so to speak, into the editor, but they are more custom entities that you create in the game engine, and then the game engine basically it actually handles the logic anyway, but the editor kind of just has these special cases just because of the nice thing that you can open target scene and stuff like that, and the scaling. But yeah, as I said, once we have this in place, we can do the same thing for the other entities. We can turn these entities into like these general entities, and when that's done, the editor has no concept of these specialized kind of entities. It only has fully custom entities. That's kind of what I'm trying to go for this thing, for this editor here. Yeah, but that was just a little bit of explanation on what we're doing here. And so now the thing is, well, here's the button, yeah. So we want to add that thing there. I mean, I can also show you, like, all the other properties are supposed to work. I don't remember if we did the asset type thing. I think we did. But if we go to a button entity and we add another thing, and so let's say we add I don't know, what would we add? I don't know, let's just say that we have some scene that we want to target for some reason, and this is an asset reference now because the scenes are assets. So then this is an asset center, and then you can choose the asset type. So we will choose a scene, and then you can also choose a default value, but we're not gonna do that. So then we save that. So now that one is saved. However, this button is already an instance, so it doesn't get the updated value or the updated property. We could add that also in the future, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna add a new button which will have the updated properties. And there you can see now we have this entity reference. We also have this asset reference, and with key target scene, and the asset type is scene. So what you do is you pick a scene like this one, for example, and you put it there, and now you have the forest entrance here, which is a scene, which is this scene here. And then and that's how you edit sort of one instance. So now you can add another button by dragging it in there, and then this, you can see that these two are different now. So this button has the forest entrance, and this one can have something else. So that's what I mean with like entity instances. Is like for each entity in the scene, you can have different things. Okay, but so anyway, let's go back here and we'll delete this property. Yeah, I think that's the only thing left to add. I'm just gonna test all the other properties here. So let's add a float and an integer. There we have that. We also have a string. And then we also have, it's a bit hard to choose now, but an object as well. Object is basically just, you know, a thing you can add more properties to. So you can have objects, you can have nested objects any way you want. But let's add another one down here. So we have object, string, integer, float, asset, and the entity reference. So we have basically have everything here. And then, so let's delete this last one. And then let's try default value 1 and 0. Okay, and then we save that, and we go here and we bring in another button here, and now you can see we have all these different properties. And so here we have the float, and we have the integer. You can see it's set to 1 as default, and then here's the string where the default value is set there, and here's the object as well. Okay, and then we save that, and if we exit and reload, we can see that all of these should have been saved and properly loaded and stuff. Okay, cool. So that's how the properties work. Let's delete all this crap. There we go. All right, now as I said, the thing that we want, the last thing with properties that we want to do to make it like sort of an MVP, I don't know, version of it, is to add a way to select an entity reference. So what I'm thinking is we want to have a label that shows what the current value is, and then I want to have a set entity button as well, and or a set button or something, I don't know what to call it, but yeah, that's gonna be that. And if we go to our to-do here, we actually have made a lot of these stuff already, so I'm just gonna do this, the string. Okay, I'm gonna leave max length for now. So we have string number, we actually have integers and floats. Object, we have asset reference, we have entity reference. However, we need to be able to set it. So set entity, yeah, we need to be able to set the entity. Okay, and the metadata is already removed, so we can actually go ahead and cross tick that off as well. Okay, so we'll work on this one. That was a bit long-winded intro here to start working here, but I want to explain, you know, at the start at least, before, so the new people also can understand what's going on, so we don't like just jump into the thing. But let's see. So we have our layout functions, and this would be for scene. Yeah. Okay. Now let's go to, we have properties somewhere, property editor. Oh yeah, so actually we go to the property editor, that's right. It's a separate one because it's shared between the scene editor and also the entity type editor. But here's our property editor, and it basically has properties, and then we have this tree node stuff, which we're also gonna replace because that's, well, never mind that now. Object property editor. All right, and here's the entity reference editor. So here is what we need to be able to edit stuff here. And so when we are in our sort of entity instance mode here, where we can actually edit the entity reference, we will do that. So 1 second here. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we'll start where I was talking about. So let's add a text, which is like the ID of the current reference. So we'll just add that, and then we have the entity reference, and then just the entity ID. Okay, yeah, we also have the scene ID. So maybe we should also post that. So let's do first scene and then entity, and then I guess we'll also do this. I think what I want to do also is like I want to have a auto hoverable thing. Like these are gonna be two. You're not gonna be able to see those with the sort of width that's in the sidebar now. So maybe, but I won't do that now. But or maybe we can solve it in some other way. But yeah, there's our entities and scene. So let's see how that looks now. Well, they should both say like null in this case. Oh, we have some errors. Pointless discard. Okay, fine. All right. Let's remove that. Save. Okay, here you can see both of them are not set. So I wonder if you can like set some string. If it's null, you can if you can what is it? Standard format. So you have arguments, specifier, fill, alignment with precision. Argument, numeric index in the field name, arguments should be inserted. What about nullables or optionals? Yeah, I'll put optional value or null, maybe followed by format specifier for the underlying value. Okay. So you can't. Right. So what I wanted to do was maybe like if we provide a question mark and then provide like, okay, if it's null, then I wanna show this. But I mean, what you could do is say or else none, something like this, and then we don't have to do that. So I guess that's also like an easy way of doing it. Oh. Incompatible types. All right. So Right, so you can't exactly do that either. I mean, I guess what you could do is type man, this is so this is actually where the, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like this kind of operator, where this operator actually shines, because we could have done this. Okay, I want to call synchronize if it exists, otherwise this expression will be null, and then if it's null we want to return null, none. So basically, but this, I don't think this exists, so what you have to do basically is say well, I don't think it's possible, like because if you do this you will crash if it's null, and if you do like or else, this doesn't work because then you need to provide a UUID here. So it's like, yeah, the only thing you could do is like you can do an if and then capture it, provide that dot serialize, else none. So that's a way you could do it, but yeah, I mean, that, I guess that's more of a Zig way to do it, but I'm not sure if I actually it's like, yeah, but it's not as nice, I don't think. I mean, I think this makes a lot of sense, but I mean, yeah, that's not how it is. So well, I'll just settle for null for now, and we will have it like this. Okay, so anyway, that was the easy part. And now it's like the huge part of actually making an entity selector. So yeah, I think what we're gonna do, well, actually we're gonna have to have a button. It's gonna say set entity, and if that is pressed, then we will say that well, we need like the context here, I think. Or we need the document. So actually that's gonna be like a scene document, right? And we don't always have that because this is used both in the scene editor and also the entity type editor. I guess we could add a nullable scene document. And the reason why I want that is because in the scene editor we want to have some states, some state that determines if a particular like UI element is open or not, if the window is shown or not. So what I want to do is I want to go to our non-persistent data, which is where we have that. This is basically like UI stuff that is only related to the scene scene documents. And so here we will say also, are these even used anymore? Is this used? No. So we can actually just remove this whole thing. And I don't think this is used either. No. This one. This is used, so here's where we have updated that, yeah. Alright, cool. And nothing else. Okay, whoops. Let's see. Where were we here? Yeah, so I don't think, yeah, these ones are, we actually don't need these anymore. Okay, that's nice. And now you are not used, so that's good. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to add a flag for if the select like set entity window is open. Is set entity window open? Alright. And then in here we can say open set entity window. And we can also have close. And then we simply do this. Okay. And then when we go back here, we say if we press this button, then we say scene document. We just assume that it's there because we have to supply it if, yeah, if we are in this branch. Okay, and then this will be open set entity window. Okay, so that handles that state. Now we have to also, oh yeah, we have to actually pass the scene document here. I wonder if we could grab the editor instead. Like, we do have the context. Let's actually do this. Let's put the context here. Oops. And instead of grabbing the scene document, we will do here. So we will say if let's see, if the so we should have get current editor. Alright. And then we say document type. So if this is, well, we can do a switch. Well, yeah, we can do, let's see, document content, and it has to exist since it's loaded into an editor. And now this got a bit nested here, but it has to do with how like this capture work. You can only have one if, like one statement in here if you want to capture a nullable into a capture like this. So that's why I have to do it like this. And then we switch on that. We want to only target scenes. We get the scene document out there as a mutable. This should also be mutable. And there we go. Editor doesn't support field access. What? Oh. And if it's anything else, then we don't do anything. Expected optional type. Oh, you're not an optional. There we go. All right. Okay. Let's see. So now this window should open, and or the flag should be set, but now we also need, you know, the actual window as well. So let's open up layout.scene and we'll add a function for that. Oh, and this one actually, this actually could be now. This is like an old code for an asset input. So I'm just gonna search for asset input and take something here, scene maybe, and we will search for scene. Where is this used? Over here. All right, so we will just replace this with an asset input for scene, and this is going to be exit. Let's see. No, it's going to be selected entity.id. That's the current value. And then we get a new ID out, and then what we do is, well, let's see what we're doing here. We do this exit.scene ID is equal to get ID by file. No, we actually already have the ID, so we can just do this. Yeah. All right. And then we can just remove this thing, because it basically does the same thing, but we basically copied the thing. But now we have a more generic way of doing it with this function here. Okay, cool. Anyway, let's see, where can we add this function here? We can add it over here, let's say. So here we need a function for set entity reference window. Alright. And we actually need a scene document. And so here we can say if scene document actually we need to add, let's just add a convenience here, is set entity window open. Oh, and we will just return this. Wait, where did that go? Is open, yes. If it's open, then we make the window. So this will be set entity reference. And p open, I'm not sure what that meant. I'm gonna ignore that for now. We have window flags, and yeah, here you can set a whole bunch of stuff. So basically I'm just gonna enable everything here for now, or I mean, can keep it as default here. And then you can also determine, so you can set the window position, or window size, and let's just do, I don't know, 800, something like this. Okay, now this will be for like the initial render. So then if the user modifies it, then InGUI will actually save that in a file, and the next time the window will like keep whatever the user has chosen. I believe so. Anyway, this is a way to set sort of the initial size of it. Okay, I'm not sure what about the position. Let's just keep it default for now. And well, actually, let's set the position as well. Let's set it to like 100, something like that. Okay, so now we should have that. Then we defer end the window. Okay. Now we need to call this somewhere. So, it's basically, we can call it, I guess, at the end of this function here. There we go. So now if the flag is true, then we show the window. If not, then we don't. Okay, and then we also want to have what happens if they close the window. I'm not sure where that happens. If that in this if here, let's try it out. Then we do scene document close that. Okay. All right. Let's see how that looks. Okay, here's our button. So we click this, the window should open. Oh, it disappeared immediately. Okay, I'm guessing that this if here is activating. So I'm gonna do this. I'm not sure how we. Maybe it's like the p open thing. Open, and then like if open, I guess it's true, and then if it's false, then we close it. I don't know. Let's try it. Maybe I should read the docs, but I just want to test this first. Yeah, like this. I can't be asked to open the docs right now. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, there we go. And you can't move it, so I guess I was lying when I said before you can resize it. And then you click this, then it closes. Okay, so that's actually that is what it's for, the p open thing. Okay, cool. But this didn't actually work. This part, I just want to set like the initial. Condition. Oh yeah. So the condition is gonna be first, once. What's the difference? I guess we'll try once and see. I wonder if it's like always gonna be every time you run the program, it's gonna show up the same size or something like that. I guess that's fine. So you do this. Oh yeah, the position doesn't change. Okay. So the position is now, but if we do this and we reload, is it gonna have the same size now. Yeah, so it resets the thing. So what I'll do is I'll say first use ever so that you can like change it or whatever. There we go. So now it should be good. Yeah, now you can move it around, you can resize it, put it over here. If we close and reopen and open it again, it's gonna be over here. Okay, cool. So with that out of the way, now we can begin building this window. So what we need to do is we need to have a scene input where we select a scene. I'm thinking of maybe having like a combo button, or I mean a combo input, which is like a drop down. And combo input for the scene. So you should, or you could also have, you know, the asset manager input, like you have an asset, yeah, current scene. So actually we need a little bit of state as well for this. So let's go back here and we'll say set entity window scene. So this will be, I guess we can just have a UUID for it. Let's do a nullable, I guess. Set it to null, and then set entity window entity. That's the same thing. Okay, so now we have those. That's where the state is for the UI here. So for those things. So let's see. So for the combo input, we have the combo thing. Combo. Now I think we have to do like begin combo, because we're gonna have to add like a, I'm not sure what the difference is. Well, combo and begin combo. Oh, here you can set a whole bunch of stuff. Current item, item separated by zeros. Oh, okay, so you have like a string that you put in. I see. What about begin combo? Preview value, flags, no preview. I'm not sure what the preview means. Okay, let's just do this. And I guess if the if here is for, or the bool return is for when it changes, I think, if it follows the same pattern as every other input. And this will be the scene. Okay. But how do you, or wait, or maybe it's like, okay, you know what, this is where we want to check out the manual. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over to the IMGUI manual somewhere. I'm gonna show in a second here. Here is the thing, I think, yeah. Let's see, you can enable the browser here. There we go. So let's see, we have combo here. Yeah, this site is nice because in IMGUI you can see like, okay, how do you get the IMGUI stuff here that you can try out and see how it works, and then you get the code on this side to see what you want to do. But the code is in C++, so you will have to sort of translate it, but it's basically one-to-one translated to Zig. So it's not that big of a deal. But like here's the combo, okay? Where's the actual thing? So here's begin combo, okay? Preview value is some sort of thing in the items. Items is a list of strings. Okay. Here we have begin combo, and then you loop through the items. And oh, you have a selectable. Okay, so you have selectables in there. I see. And once it's selected, if you set the selected index, okay, so that changes the preview and I guess also like your variable here. Okay, so it's not that big of a thing. I thought that you would have to like have a special combo item or something like that, but and also you put the end combo in there, so here you will have a loop through all the scenes in the thing. So this is kind of where we don't really have a way of doing that right now. I think we have to extend the asset index a little bit for this. This is the asset index is where it's basically an index where we keep track of all our assets. It's basically just a hash map of IDs to the file paths where they are. So, and then we have a little bit we have like persistence to the file system and stuff, and we load it and we can rebuild the index from scratch if we want to restore it. It's fully like restorable from all the files that we have. All files keep their IDs in them, and so then you can just search the file system and reveal it. But anyway, so what we need to do is we need to go through the index and find all of the scenes. So we have to basically loop through the entire index to get this list. Maybe we save it. We have to loop through it every frame. If we don't cache it. Well, let's just do it for now and we can optimize it later. So, yeah, let's make a thing here. Get, I guess, IDs by document type. And so we will have a document type here, which is document tag, which we don't have, I don't think, here yet. So let's add that document tag. And we will get back. Well, I guess we have to save it since it's I mean, we have to allocate it. Or we could provide like an iterator, I guess. Yeah. No, we're not gonna do an iterator. We're just gonna return a list of I guess IDs. Yeah, a list of IDs. And the way we do this is we create an array list first. So let's do that. Array list. We also need an allocator. And this is going to be an array list of UIDs. And we initialize this. Let's just add a little bit of capacity, I guess. I don't know, maybe like this. And we discard the out of memory error. And then, let's see. Yeah, and then we return, once we're done, we return to old slice. Oh, is that also allocator? Allocator error. Yeah, so what this does is basically it cleans up the array list, but it returns the underlying sort of just array that you want. And so then the caller will have to call free on this later when to yeah, but we'll catch and reachable. I'm not sure what does this even, where, like here, align, is it allocating something here? Okay, whatever, it's an out of memory error. So so now we have to populate it, and I guess we'll just go through. Oh yeah, we also need self. So we'll go through hash map, and let's do values. So this is the file path we get out here. Wait. No, wait, this is wrong. Wait, this is not a UUID. This is a string, right? Am I crazy? The value. Yeah, first is the key type, then the value type. The value type comes in here. We're passing it there. And then value is supposed to be value and not key. And this type is the string that we put in there. So I don't know. I think the LSP is drunk here. But anyway, this should be the file path that we have. And so what we do with that is we use the document. Let's see, we need document. We need get tag by file path. There we go. We get a document tag out. Actually, what we can do, we just do a switch on this. And we also catch unreachable because it should already be like validated and stuff, I think. So now here we will do document type. If it's this one, the one that we send into this function, then we will add it to our list. So let's insert, should we assume capacity? No, let's just insert it there. And wait, no, insert, not insert, append, that's right. Append, yeah. And the item is, so now how do we get the item? So we have to do hash map keys I. So that, because the keys and the values here are the same, they are the same, they're matching the arrays here. because this hash map is like a array hash map. So it keeps the values and the keys in an array that have the same length, and they are all matching up the indexes to each other. So you can you can loop through the values, grab the index, and then you can also easily grab the key from out there. Okay, and then we also have to catch reachable here, out of memory error from append. All right, now otherwise we will just continue. Okay, and by the end we should have our IDs, that is the actual document type that we have here. Okay, let's go back here now. And so I'm just gonna do this in a very sloppy way here. I'm just gonna grab the ID list. Let's do that. So how do we do this? I think we need to grab the context, and we need to say, let's do scenes and context, and we need, maybe we can even add a convenience function in the context, I guess. Oh man, now the LSP stopped working here because we entered this file, and for some reason this file makes the LSP cry and quit. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I mean, the compiler doesn't complain. It's just the LSP that doesn't work. Maybe I should look if there's an update for that. But anyway, yeah, let's just add it at the end here. So get, I guess, IDs by document type. So we'll just copy this function here. Okay, this is imported, self, and document type. All right. Oh, I did the same typo. Okay, and then we basically have the project. All right, that's the project, and then we can return. Oh yeah, I don't get LSP here, but asset index, and we call the same function here with the document type, and we also need the allocator. All right, that was it, right? So allocator and document type, yeah. All right. Actually, when we return, we should return an empty slice. All right. And those doesn't have to be allocated, so that's good. So let's go back here now. Yeah, so now we have the context. We can call get IDs, blah blah blah. So what I'm gonna do is try to fix this LSP problem. I'm gonna remove this, do an LSP restart, and get IDs by. So I don't get the auto completion here because it's using like an old cached version, I think, of context type. But I can say get IDs by document type, and document type is going to be scene. Okay, so now we should have that, and then we defer also 3 scenes. Yeah, the LSP doesn't work at all now. Okay, whatever. Now we should have the scenes, and actually here let's do defer on this one, and then we do if selectable selectable, yeah, and then you need a label. So the label is gonna be I mean, that's gonna be like the name of the thing. Actually, you know what? Maybe we don't need. Maybe we need like a header. We need like both the ID and the name. Or we could also just get. Let's do this. Scene file path, or yeah, that's gonna be get file. Whatever. Let's open the context file. Get file path by ID. So that's what we can call get file path but by ID, and then the ID is just well, okay, we need to loop here as well. For scenes we get a scene ID, okay, and that's the ID there. So this one is returning this is nullable, so if we don't get an ID, something went wrong. So I think I'm just gonna continue there. That shouldn't happen basically, because we have the paths. I mean, we went through the asset index to get those, so that it should exist. I should maybe even do unreachable for that. Oh well, whatever. And then selectable, yeah, selectable, and then we don't want to put the whole file path in there. We just want to get the scene base name. I guess there's also, wait, where do we have base name? I think we did a thing here, yeah. Active document label. I think I want to take this part out. Yeah. And do like document short name or something like that. And then file path. And then you get a thing back, which is gonna be 0 terminated. Okay, and we don't do that. We get the file path directly. We get, so you grab the base name, then we have, then we also, wait, couldn't we just do like slice 2 here? We do a slice 2, this, okay, and then the type label, what, no, we just return this name here, return name, but it needs to be duplicated, so we actually do allocator do search, yeah. So we have to free it once we use it. Because this takes a 0 terminated string, so. But now we can use this function here. So let's do scene name is gonna be utils. And it's gonna be, what was it, document short name, context. I mean, we don't need to pull in the whole context. We can just put the applicator. Okay, context of allocator, and then the thing is scene path, and then we defer free of scene name, and we put scene name there. And then I believe there's some flags as well, so I'm just gonna forget about the flags for now. So if we get in here, that means the selectable is clicked or selected. And then what we do is we want to change the IDs. So yeah, I think we need some more convenience stuff here. Set entity reference scene. Okay, scene ID. Let's make it nullable so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so we do this and then we say, whoops, self document, non-persistent data, and then set entity scene thing. This will be over here. It's gonna be this is equal to scene ID. Okay, and then let's add for entity ID. Entity. There we go. So now we have those two convenience functions. Let's go back here and we can say if this is called, then we do scene document set whatever it was called here. And this will be the scene ID. And I think we want to have like here like highlighted, like if the scene ID is equal to like is selected, okay, so how they do it is, wait, they have is selected. They put it into the second argument. But I thought that was like flags. Okay, I guess I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's some sort of flags here. I'm gonna check the what's it called? ZE tab. Here we go. All right, and we're gonna search for selectable. Let's search. Wait, where is the thing? So okay, I'm confused. It should be somewhere here. I guess it's selected. Oh, here it is. Okay. So it just showed this part and not here. So the args is selectable, and then you put in selected as a thing there. Okay. Let's go back. So let's go back here and we're gonna have selected is equal to yeah, scene, if scene ID is equal, if the UUID is equal to the selected one, which is what? It's gonna be, actually let's just do, oops, let's do is selected is equal to scene ID, UUID is equal to scene document get. Oh, now we have to have get functions for that as well. So we have set and we need get. There we go. Get set entity reference scene. And I realize the name is kind of weird, but that's just how it is right now. So is selected. So now we can just say is selected here. Yeah, because this, well, this refers to the state of the UI right now, and then this is the scene that we're looping through in the scene in the combo input here. So we're checking if they are the same. Then that means that this selectable is the one that is actually selected. All right. I want to check the manual a little bit more to see if we're done here. So it's just ending the combo after that. Okay. Yeah, that seems good. So now we should have that drop down. And yeah, let's fix all the errors. Undeclared identifier UID. Okay, that's easily fixed. We will just do this. Oh, context 739. Use of undeclared identifier context. Oh, self. Okay. Right. Layout scene 181. Right, so here we need to pass in context and the scene as well. Asset index 206. Here we go. Unable to resolve comp time value. Okay, so what we'll do is we will make this comp time because we don't have a runtime version of that. And what that will do is, well, as long as you supply a comp time known value, it's gonna work. And it complains here, which I find kind of strange, but I think the alternative would be to have an inline else, and then you get the tag out like this, and then yeah, and then you check if tag is equal to document type, then we do the thing that we want to do. So that's the alternative, I think, to what we're trying to do here. But if we just make it comp time, it's gonna work anyway. So let's do that. So this is comp time. Yeah, this also needs to be comp time. Okay. And then that's it, I think. Yeah. And then these are just calls. Yeah. Okay. Let's see now. Missing struct field preview value. Oh. So you have to have like a preview value, I guess. Here. Preview value. So So that will be the current scene thing. So what we'll do is we'll do yeah, let's do this preview value, and we'll make a thing like this, and we'll say we'll grab out the current value. Current scene ID is equal to scene document get set entity reference scene. So this is now a nullable scene ID, but if it's null, then we want to return this, because we need to create something that we can deallocate later or free up later. So this will be like none or null, or I don't know, none. Let's say none. But if we do have it, then we continue here. Well, actually, we need to break as well. We need to break out there. Okay, but if we have the current scene ID, we continue, and then we want to do these things. Okay, so we grab the scene file path, the current scene ID, and also if we don't have it, I'm just gonna say unreachable on that one. And then we have the scene name, but we actually just break this out. So this is gonna be break like this. Okay. So then now we have our string here that we wanna later deallocate here, free preview value. But now we can actually supply this into here. Okay. A little bit messy here, but I just want to get this working, see how it looks. Okay, scene document 220. Expected void. Oh, yeah. Need to set the return value or type, I mean. No preview, no field name preview value instruct begin combo. What? Okay, did I put it in the wrong place? Hang on. So if we don't have this, missing struct field preview, oh, preview underscore value. Okay. It's a bit non-conventional. Okay. Oh. Right, we need to catch unreachable here as well. There we go. Scene 210. Incompatible types. All right, we need to do. Okay, so let's do. Here we actually have to do like if. So we know this exists. So if this exists, we get the current ID out, and we can match this with the scene ID. Otherwise, it's gonna be false because the current value is null, so we don't have any. We have nothing set basically. Nothing is selected. Okay, layout utils 131. So what do we have here? We have a duplication. Okay, yeah, let's do catch reachable on that. All right, there we go. Got it working. So let's see how this looks now. We'll open the window and we crash, of course. That is usually how it goes when you've done something new. File extension invalid. Okay. Let's catch that error. So this is happening here, I believe. Here. Yeah. Catch unreachable. So let's catch this. So I guess let's get the document type. Let's get the type out like this. But then we catch the error and we say could not get. I mean, do we get a thing here? File extension invalid. Could not get document type from this. And then this is the file path and the error. And then we have to basically. Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a panic. Or can we handle this somehow? Should we continue? Maybe we just do a continue. Unexpected expression. Oh yeah, this is not DT. And select the button, open the window. Okay, so here you can see we actually get the whole thing here. I wonder which one actually like it failed to do. So we should probably get spammed here. Could not get document type from component health. Oh, right. This is like a okay. This is like a document that is not shouldn't exist anymore. We don't really have a prune function in the asset index. That is in the to-dos. So I think yeah, because we don't have, there's no such file. So what we have to do, we have to go into the index magic index file here, and we have to search for components, and we delete it because that is not a valid. I started to add component types to the editor, but then I regretted that and I went back on that, and so now I don't have that type anymore. So that's why that actually failed. Also, it's probably like stuff in there that doesn't really exist anymore, but never mind that. So also this will be a problem now, because if we don't, like, if you have a scene that you delete, then you can still select it in this drop down. But yeah, I'll fix that later. Okay, but now we shouldn't get spammed by this thing. So yeah, now we don't get that error message there. All right. So anyway, now we can select the scene here. So let's and I wanna set the default scene to be the current scene. So, and here you can see it works. We are setting the current thing. It's changing there. So that's really nice. Okay. I just want to check if we get some leaks or something. No. Okay. Now back to the layout here. All right. So now we've set the scene. Now we want to draw the scene as well. So this will be a bit interesting. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use render textures for this, and then I'm gonna draw the so a render texture is basically in Raylib is a texture that you can render to. You can use. Okay, I'm just gonna restart this to get the LSP working here. Here, yeah. So what you can do is you can say. Well, actually, it's no, wait. Yeah, it's Raylib, and then begin something texture mode. Yeah, texture mode, and you see the target is a render texture. So we create a render texture. Render texture. I think load render texture. So I'm not sure if it's feasible to do this every frame or if that's gonna be like an issue, but I'm gonna do it just to show it here. Otherwise we can create one for each like scene document or something like that. But I'm gonna create it here. The width and height I'm just gonna set to basically the same as we have the window. So let's actually define those. Window, let's just do size. Actually, are these integers or no, they're floats. So let's do this. So then now they are basically, well, and comp time. I wish they were like more polymorphic so you can use it. I'm not sure if you can actually use it now, like window size as floats here. I mean, let's try it, because I don't want to have to like do multiple versions, because Raylib sometimes you want to supply, sometimes they want integers and sometimes they want floats. Like for this one they want integers here, so let's do integers, and if they're different you have to like in Zig you have to convert them, so that's why it's like a little bit of inconvenience. But then I guess this will return like a out of memory error or something like that, so we're just gonna skip that. Okay, and then we have this part now, so let's defer end texture mode there. Okay, now in here, everything we do here will render the scene. Let's actually do a separate function for that, so we get a proper scope for it. Render scene. I'm just gonna provide a scene document here, and we also need the context, I believe. All right, let's just do this. Okay, we'll do this, we'll do that, and then we'll call render scene here. Okay. So, what we'll do in here is we will just draw the scene out, and then you'll be able to select from the scene. Also, we need like a camera as well for this. But let's do it like this for now. So the scene is drawn. We actually have draw here. We can actually just use this, I guess. This function here, draw. That will actually just draw the whole thing. So yeah. Or we can grab out this part because we don't want to draw the drag payload. But let's just call draw, I guess. Draw. Okay. So we can see if this actually works. Well, actually, yeah, we're not done yet. Oh yeah, I didn't start the thing. Okay. So what we want to grab out the texture from this. Get scene render texture. Let's and then we return this render texture, and then at the end we want to do unload texture, unload render texture. Okay, let's just call this texture whatever. Okay, now, oh yeah, now I don't have the size anymore. Let's do window, let's do set, we have to do this like width and height. Let's do that. Okay. Okay, there you go. Once it allows you to format, you know that you fixed basically all the sort of weird syntax errors and stuff, and also some weird other stuff as well. Expected type void found render texture. So this will actually return a render texture. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we're creating a render texture, but we're not actually using it. So we have to do now we have to use another library called RL-ImGui, which merges, or it's like a compatibility thing between ImGui and Raylib. So we will do an render texture here. You can also do fit there if you want, but I'm gonna do render texture, and now we have to do like a pointer cast of this texture, but because yeah, I'm not gonna go into that. You have to do a pointer cast here because yeah, because this is like a different library and it defines its own types and stuff. So, but they're basically the same type. So because it uses Raylib underneath. So let's see how this looks now, because this should actually render the scene into the window now. And I'm not sure if it's gonna be laggy or not, but we'll see. I mean, we are doing the same thing in the actual scene editor. Oh, I need to source, and probably gonna fix some errors here as well. No? Okay. All right, and we get a blank thing. Well, that's good, I guess. We changed it to test village, and we still get a blank thing. So it doesn't work. Oh, we're actually, okay, I'm kind of stupid here. We're actually passing in the scene document, like our current scene document every time. So we shouldn't actually do that. What we should do is pass in the scene document that is gonna be, you know, the selected scene. So what we'll do is we will request the scene document from the context scene, and the ID is the scene ID. And now instead of passing in a thing here, we pass in an ID, and then this will be selected scene ID. If we don't have a selected scene ID, I'm just going to return from this at this point. Okay, because now this is not unknowable anymore, and we can send it in here, and now it should be the correct scene. And also here, this is nullable. actually, yeah, it can catch as well. So if it catches, then we return null. Let's do null over here. And now we have to wrap it because of syntax reasons. And then we have an or else return null as well. Okay, so now this should be a scene document that we get out, and we can use it as before. But now we are not guaranteed to get a texture out, so we have to do or else return here as well. Okay. Let's 232. Oh, we don't have UUID here. Okay, so we'll import that. There we go. Now let's see. I'm not. It's probably not gonna work anyway because yeah, we always get this blank thing here. So now we have to figure out how to solve that issue. So the idea is we set texture mode, and then we call a bunch of draw functions, and then we end the texture mode. The draw functions calls these functions, draw entity, for example. Yes, and I just realized that the only way this works is because the tile map is the first entity, so that's why it's always drawn first or at the back. But yeah, and then we're drawing using raylib draw texture. Here we're using draw tile map. The tile map is also drawn live, so to speak. It's not cached or anything. Yeah. So all this is happening, and we're ultimately calling this function. So these functions should be rendering onto the render texture. So I'm not sure what's happening. It seems to render something. Maybe we need to like clear it or something. Let's do texture mode. Yeah, so here we do clear background, color white or something. Well, now it should be white, I guess. No? What? Interesting. Let's see what happens. Well, if we don't do this, obviously now it's gonna be white, right? Oh, and now this one is... So if you don't do the draw, it should be white. No? What if wait, oh wait. I think it's because we're unloading it here. So in ImGui, the render doesn't really happen right away. It's not happening at this instant. I just realized that. So this actually just, I think it's like it's compiling a list of commands that it then realizes at the end of everything. So you build up a bunch of commands, and then at the end it's gonna go through all the commands and like render stuff at that point. So at this point we're actually not rendering anything. So when we unload, when it actually comes around to render this texture, it's gonna realize, oh, this is an unallocated texture or something, and I guess it just renders black or something like that. I'm not sure exactly, but I think that's the reason why we're not seeing the thing. So we actually want to save this texture. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our scene non-persistent data. Whoops, wait, no, scene non-persistent data. And then we're gonna say set entity window render texture, I guess we can call it. And yeah, I'm just gonna initialize this on load. We're gonna have one for each one. So this is gonna be render texture. Yeah, we have Relive here. All right, and then on load, this is gonna be render texture is equal to Relive render texture. Load render texture. And that's right, the size we don't really have. Let's just hard code it for now. Actually, it should just be whatever. Let's just have it like that. And then let's actually have it like equal, because you might actually be larger or smaller than the actual window. We don't really know. So let's do that, and then yeah, that's where we load it. Is this? Yeah, this returns now nested catch unreachable. And then at the initialize, we do relive unload render texture like this. All right. And then I want to set this to undefined. I think what this does is like setting it to some random garbage. I'm not sure exactly, but I'm gonna start with that pattern here. Okay, so now we'll go back, and we don't create the texture like this, or we don't really unload it. And here we actually don't load it like this. We wanna grab it from the scene doc. Actually, that's gonna be the wrong document. To be drawn, I guess. Scene document dot get render texture. Actually, this would be a good way to sort of optimize the rendering a little bit, so you can store a render texture for each scene in, I don't know. But this is gonna be, well, we don't have a function for it, so let's do that. Get set entity with reference. Get set entity window render texture. Render texture. Return. All right. So now we can do that. Get that. Okay. Okay, let's see if this works now. Get some errors. Right, now you need C document as well. Oops. I guess we could just render it directly here as well. We don't really need to return the texture and do stuff like that. We can just do this. So render scene. I guess render other scene or something like that. I don't know what to call it. Render, like set entity reference window render scene. Okay, it's very specific there. All right. Yeah, M texture mode. Maybe that should happen here, and then after that we render the thing. Yeah. And now clear background. I'm not sure we need to do that. Yeah, let's just keep it, I guess, and we'll see how it looks. And so now we actually just say render scene, or else return. We don't do that. There we go. There we go. Let's see what we can errors we get here. What's this? Expected type void, found type of null. Oh, so now we can just return here instead. That's right. Scene, non-persistent data, 24, missing struct. Okay, let's just set it to undefined, I guess. And hope we don't crash from that. All right, there we go. There you see that thing. Okay, now we can select the different scenes and they are rendered here. It doesn't seem to be lagging or anything. Well, maybe a little bit, I don't know. It's hard to tell. But yeah, so now we can do that. Okay, next step is I want to be able to... I'm going to create a camera that I'm going to be able to like move around with here. So we already sort of have that functionality. I'm just gonna create a new camera. And it's gonna be a camera 2D. And where do we have this camera? Let's search for camera 2D instead. Here maybe. Let's take you. That's from like another project. Okay, so the offset, that's half of the thing. Let's then set at, okay, we should have it over here. Where was that? 800 somewhere. Yeah, these. Let's move these over here and we'll make them public. Or we move them into here, I guess, and make them public so you can access them from outside as well. And let's make them like 800. Let's go over here and we can do width and height. Okay, let's go back here, and now this one would be width over 2 and height over 2. this. There we go. Okay, so we set the offset to half of the thing, of the size. Target is in the middle, I guess. No rotation, one zoom. Okay. Now, once we have this camera, we can go here and we can say down here. Now here we also do begin texture mode, but we also do the camera. So begin camera. I think you should be able to like mode 2D. Yeah. So this would be okay. Now we need a convenience function for that as well. Okay. Let's get the camera. Yeah. All right. And then we also end mode 2D here as well. So now we should have the camera enabled. Oh yeah, this is scene document. Oops. Wait, which one? What was it called? Set. I'm pretty sure it's. Oh wait, yeah, it's the non-persistent data. Let's do this then. Let's do this. Kind of becomes a little bit weird here, but I'm gonna do this. Is equal to non-persistent data dot height. Okay, there we go. So now we have those, and we can access them here. Oops. One second here. All right. Let's check this out. Okay, so now we have the camera thing. But we cannot do anything with it. But we want to actually... Oh, we can scroll. That's kind of weird. I should probably disable that. But because the idea is that you're gonna able to have the same sort of camera controls as you have out here. In here as well. So you can sort of... familiarity strikes. And you should be able to use it as well. Alright, let's go back to the camera stuff. Right. So what we wanna do is we wanna have like camera controls, which is over here. Camera controls. But these controls are like we want to only have them in this part. So it's like if there's something with the mouse. Once, yeah, set, no. Yeah, there's something with like the capture. I think it's like IO capture. Yeah, get. So what this does is basically is asking the ImGUI library, like are you using the mouse for something like opening a combo list or pressing a button or anything like that? If it doesn't, then we can go ahead and use the input of the camera controls. And we should probably also check if it's inside the window. So if we do I wonder if you can do that somehow easily. That is, I mean, you could just, yeah, you could get the position and the size and then manually check. Here's region, content region. You also have this image, so you could get like item size or something like that, and item, what is it, rect min, rect max. Actually this would be like item min, item max, because I believe there's something like is mouse, there's something like hovered, is hovered, item hovered, is item hovered, there we go. Delay none. Yeah. Okay, yeah, here it is. So after you've rendered an item, you can check if it's hovered by doing this, and then you can also check if the IO wants to capture mouse, and if not, well, let's do this. Okay, then we can go ahead and do the camera controls. However, the camera controls are actually only targeting the context camera. We don't really want to do that. Well, actually what we want to do is we want to have a separate function. We want to basically just supply a camera instead. So now we don't have to rely on, well, we can provide any camera. And do the same kind of thing. So yeah, but now we have to update a whole bunch of places that use this. So let's do that real quick. So now this, we supply a concept of camera. Let's do this. I was contemplating on whether to do a macro or something, or a replace thing for this, but I don't. There's so few of them. There we go. Okay, let's go back to our scene thing. Right, so instead of passing this, we're gonna pass, well, we're gonna do, actually, let's return the pointer. And so now we have the pointer, and here we have to supply the dereferenced version. Here we can now supply the camera directly. There we go. All right. Now let's see if that works. This camera still works. Let's go in here, set the entity. Nope. Nothing happens. Okay, interesting. All right. Searching for if there was an error or something, but maybe we don't actually go in here. Maybe because of this. I mean, I guess if it's hovered, we don't really care about this, because hovered sort of takes care of that already, I think. So let's just do that, I guess. We'll try. Because that should take care of if anything else is like blocking it or something like that. Like if you have another window on top or something like this. There we go. Yeah, so you see it doesn't work here, but it does work over here. Okay, cool. We do want to set it to be something like this, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Now the background is white, but I guess that doesn't really matter a whole bunch. And you do get sort of the same artifacts almost that you get. But yeah, now we can. We have sort of a mini view of the thing. Now we want to be able to select, like click on an entity to sort of select it, and we also want to have it show up here as like the selected thing, and then we want to have a button somewhere that is like accept or okay or something like that. So that way you can select the entity, and now you can select an entity from whatever scene you want. So you can go in here and click here and stuff like that. So that's the idea. All right. Well, it's a little bit funky, the controls and stuff, but yeah, we'll make it work. One second there. One second here. Let me fix something. Wait. All right. Okay, so how do we select stuff? Well, we have these functions down here. Select entity, for example. So I think we can just, maybe we can sort of, I mean, we can basically just copy this functionality here. We don't really care about payload. We wanna, yeah, I'll just copy this. And yeah, we will go back here. And we could just add the things here, because this is where the item is hovered. That's when you actually have the mouse over the image or over the scene. We check if the left button is pressed. We go through all the entities. We have to use this now. And alright, that's unknown because it's using like a context thing. Okay, so if the entity type is timer, we continue. If the so here is the thing. Is mouse position inside entity rectangle? I'm not sure if this is using anything else than the actual entity. I'm not sure why we have the context for the camera. I see. And then we have scale there as well. Okay. I think this is actually it's 4. So let's how many are using this function? I'm contemplating of actually adding a camera option in here. Yeah, I mean, why not? Camera 2D. So now we do this. Okay. And we have to fix all of these. Now we probably want to do like a maybe just a macro. We'll go here and here, and we'll do context camera. That's it. Okay. And let's go back. Where are we? We are over. Yeah, we're here. Right. And here. Yeah. So actually now this guy, we should supply a camera in here as well. So this is the camera that's going to be used. What about this thing? Do you use the camera? What are you using this for? Get size. Quest document. Okay, so that's, we don't really care about that. Okay, that should be it, right? But now we need to fix all of these. Yeah, macro works for that as well. Okay, and I guess once we've done this, it's actually basically no difference between this code and the other code. However, this is gonna be camera like this. Yeah. And so, except I guess for this part, yeah. So we're not gonna have a drag point. We are not gonna select an entity like this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just make, yeah, we're gonna do scene document, set the reference scene, set the entity to be entity dot ID. Right, so it is a bit different, but yeah. Okay, let's see if it compiles. Yes, it does. Okay, I was a bit surprised there. Let's see here now. Oh yeah, also I wanna, before we do this, I wanna set this to the current, the entity reference. It's gonna pre-populate with the current scene. So I just wanna briefly do that. So that's gonna be somewhere. Actually, we could probably just do it in here. We get the persistent data here, and we can say that the scene is going to be persistent data.id. There we go. So now it's like it's populating that whenever we have the ID, basically, for that scene. Yeah, and there you go. Now this is automatically set there. So let's try and click on this thing. Okay. I mean, nothing happened because we haven't really set, or we're not really displaying the results. So let's add an input or a text or something for that. Where is the scene at? So here's the scene input, and let's add also now the. Should we do like a U? No, we can't do that. Well, let's just have a text, and we're gonna do. Actually, let's do this. So the first one is gonna be the tag name. No, not the tag name. That's gonna be. Well, actually, yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah. Wait a minute. If C document, we're gonna have to get the entity ID here. So entity. Where is it? Get. Oh, we don't have it, so we have to create it. Okay. Entity. There we go. So we get the entity. If we get it, then we do this. Now we have to basically load this document as well. Actually, let's do if, and then this tag is entity type, ID is entity ID, and then we get the entity document out here. Okay, then we say this is, well, this is an entity document, so we can go in here and we can say get well, get name, yeah, get name, and then also get ID. Maybe we can also show the, we can also like show the graphics for it, I guess, if we want. So then we can use render texture. No, not render texture, just texture. Wait, image, they call it. And the image is gonna be pointer cast entity document get whatever it was called, texture. Oh yeah, we need a texture. Okay, so this is gonna get the texture ID, so we have to get the texture ID. So now we can say if request texture, and then texture ID. Actually, is this a nullable? Yes, it is. Ooh, there's gonna be a lot of nesting here. Entity document get texture ID. Now we get the texture ID, and then if texture ID, we get the texture document, or I actually get the texture. So now this is well, this is a ready texture, and we can do this now. Okay, there we go. So now we should be able. Now we should see the entity's name, the entity's ID, and also the texture of the entity as well. Actually, we want the icon. We don't want the texture. Oh yeah. Icon. We want to do this one. Okay, so let's do this. Let's make that public. And I want to actually import that. But that's a menu though. A draw icon menu. That's a bad name, but I'm gonna stick with it. This is the entity type. So I want basically the idea is that, well, the problem is that the way I'm drawing it right now is this texture is like the whole sprite sheet. So I don't wanna draw the whole sprite sheet. I just want to draw the. Oh yeah, now we can just say that. Oh, entity type document. Sorry. But now we don't have to do all the crap where we look for the texture and stuff, because we're already doing it here. So let's remove that. Okay, so now we have the text and we draw the icon of the entity type. All right, there we go. Let's test this out. Scene 224. Expected optional type found. All right. So we need to catch here. Catch. Let's do. But if it's an error, I think we just return. I don't know. Okay. Let's click on this and nothing happens. Okay. Interesting. So if we move this like up here, will that work better? Yeah. See now. Oh, cannot find documents. Okay, so I think that's the issue. We need to also count like the window position. Okay, that's gonna be a bit. All right. Like in here, we're gonna have to do that. Well, I mean, I guess technically we could modify the camera before we send it in here. But yeah. window width. I'm gonna hack it. I'll just hack it here. Height. Why am I doing this? Window height. Camera dot target. No, it's X. Is I'm gonna say negative, or is it plus equals? So if the target is the top left, okay, I guess we'll just try negative first. Or is it? Yeah, okay. Let's just try positive first, and then we'll try negative and see what works. I'm not gonna sit and theorize here. Okay. I just want to make it work here. Oh yeah, and then we need to reset it. Oh man. So afterwards, we actually need to. Well, let's do defer. This is nice with defer because you see that we have a break here. So if we get here, we actually do these things. But also if we get over here, so we don't have to like duplicate this code, but it's sort of get duplicated for us. Okay, and then we reverse. No. Let's try the other way around. Mostly because I'm not sure exactly what they mean by target and offset and stuff. I haven't taken the course on that. No, it still doesn't work. Okay. Does this work now? No, nothing works now. Great. Maybe I don't know why. Okay, but then do we have to scale? No. I mean, I didn't zoom it, so it shouldn't be. Let's try it the other way around again. Maybe I did something weird. Okay. I know that 0 is around here somewhere, but okay. Because yeah, we have the mouse position. Yeah, because that's like this is gonna be for the screen and not for the window. So but I mean, I guess it, well, yeah, it does matter because it's the mouse position. So basically, yeah, it's gonna be negative. Yeah, I think it's negative is the correct thing to do. Let's try this again and see what we get. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. Wait, is the window supposed to be like in the middle? Let's see. Let's put it in the middle. Sort of. Is that in the middle? Well, it doesn't work. Let's do this again. And see what happens if we actually select something. Because we could do this. We could click here, go here, here, move it out, move it up. Basically, so the window is at the top left. And then it says you can't find the document. B8B. And the other one, okay. Oh, because it's trying to find a document with the entity ID, I think. Where did we have that thing here? Yeah, it's not the entity ID. It's the entity document ID. Wait, this is yeah, that's the entity ID. Okay, but we want to get the, okay, this is the wrong ID we're putting in here. Okay, so we want to get basically we have this array list of entities. We have to match the ID with one of those. So we have to go to scene document, get entity by ID. I'm gonna call it instance ID so we don't get any weird side or misconceptions. Okay, then this is this, or I guess it could be nullable as well. And so yeah, basically we just go to our document, persistent data, entities. Actually we have get entities, items, if entity.id.uid is equal to id.uid. I forget, we don't have an equals here, right? No, we should probably implement that. But if they are the same, then we return the entity. Otherwise we return null. Okay, so there's that. Now we can go back here, and instead of doing this, we get, actually we want the entity type ID. This is going to be the entity, so we're going to say if get entity by instance ID, we get an entity out. Or actually, wait, what am I doing here? And this entity has a type, that's right. And then this type has a thing. Okay, yeah. This is a bit complicated. So this entity has a type which could be custom, which is the one that we're sort of interested in. And so we're saying if that, so we're gonna do switch on type, and we're gonna say if it's custom, we get the thing there. Then we want to do basically all this. Okay, because the ID that we're getting is custom.entityType_ID. There we go. There we go. And if it's something else, then we just skip that. Because but the other stuff is just is entrance and exit, which should be actually let's do at least we'll do this, I think, the text part. So this gonna be so this is gonna be entrance. So actually we get the entrance here. Entrance dot key dot dot key. I think this has a format function. No, we don't. Okay. No, actually this one. Yeah. So we do have format, so we don't have to do this. We can just pass in the key, and then same for exit. We can say exit, but then the exit doesn't really have a key. It does have an entrance key. Yeah, let's use that. Otherwise, it's just a tile map, which we can't actually select. So great. Now let's try this. Okay, there we go. Okay, now the issue though is, so you can see our door and ID, but the issue though is now to get like the correct like offset and stuff for this. Okay, now you see this all pushes this down, so we have to like this doesn't really work. So but yeah, anyway, now one more thing also, well, two things then. We need to be able to accept the result, and we need to be able to also fix the offset issue here. Do we need to scale it? Maybe we need to scale. Oops. Also, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna make camera temp equal to camera, and then we're gonna do camera temp instead, so we don't have to defer that, and we can send in camera temp instead. There we go. So then we don't have to restore it. Okay. Let's actually now scale it as well. So let's do context scale. There we go. All right. Let's see if this works. Whoops. Oh, is this I32? Oh, this is I32. Okay. Float. There we go. What's now? Okay, I'm gonna give in here and just do this. I wish it would like pick the same type that's already like in there in the mix. Okay, now let's see. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, let's try add. We should also, it should also actually not take the window, and it should like take the image, like where the item starts, not from here but from here. Okay, that still doesn't work. Window. What could be the issue? Wait, what am I doing? I'm taking the width and height. I should take like the position. Oh, okay. Oh my god. Okay. Simple mistake. But I want the thing that I actually want is the item position. So let's grab it here. Item min. So this is going to be the scene texture min or position. Right, so that's that. And so, okay, and now it, yes, we do need to convert it still. Scene texture position 0, and this is scene texture position 1. Now we'll see if this actually works. I'm gonna say camera target X. Yeah, this doesn't care about this. Well, this one actually doesn't care about scaling. I'm not sure about the other one. Utils, camera controls. Yeah, it doesn't care about the scales, so we don't. I don't think we need to do this scale part. We do, however, want to care about maybe the zooming part. So We'll see how that works. I'm pretty sure you have to do minus, but or subtract, but I'm not sure. No. So let's do subtract. There we go. Okay. Now we can select them freely here. Oh yeah, you can even. Oh, I selected like the entrance or whatever. Entrance, yeah. Okay, cool. Now we can select whatever. It's kind of weird how it like pushes everything down. Maybe that should be a bit different, but yeah. I mean, it works for now. Okay, so the thing that's left now is you can also see here. We can select whatever we want. We can select this one. Actually, that didn't work. Why does that not work? Okay. That was strange. Why did that not work? Oh, is it? Oh, wait. It's from. Wait. No. This is the one to be drawn. Entities. Yes. It's also requested here and loaded up. So you should be able to go in here, select another scene, and then select an entity from here as well. Maybe. No, this camera is from. Oh, no, this. Wait, no, that should be correct. I think. Yeah, it should be this documents camera, not the target documents camera. I think. Or should it actually be the target documents camera? Hang on. It might be that actually. And the target documents render texture. Probably it makes way more sense. Okay. But then we want to set this one, yes. Alright. Well, let's see. Yo, baby Yoda. How's it going? Welcome. Set entity. Yeah, okay, this still works. We can scroll around, we can set this. We choose this one. Okay. And no, it doesn't work. What if we go back? Okay, then it still works. Okay, it's kind of weird because if you click somewhere where it's no entity, nothing happens. But if you go in here and you click on an actual entity, then it goes away. So it seems like it actually works, but then something goes wrong where I guess maybe because of the entity ID it doesn't find it. Oh, you know what? Maybe because we're looking from the wrong thing here. Ah, so here we get the entity ID. We have to actually to be drawn here. But that's the one. Yeah, okay, so we have to get, where is it? Yeah, let's get this here. Select the scene ID. Okay. So now we have that. How does this work exactly? Do you mean the tool that I'm building here? I'm basically building an editor for my game to, yeah, just learn the program language and, yeah, just building something for fun as well. And so it's basically a 2D, well, it's an editor that sort of produces data files, basically JSON files that you can then load into your game engine and do whatever you want with them. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm building like an editor that is sort of like agnostic towards what kind of game engine that you have. So yeah, does that answer the question, or was it regarding something else? So let's see. So now we have the scene document to be drawn there, and now we can actually we'll just pass this in directly here instead. I see document, so I don't get it. Is it like a web app? It is. Well, document in this case is an asset. Well, it's a file, so that's why I'm like calling it document. I guess it's a kind of, maybe as a bad name. I should really maybe call it asset. Like in this context, like asset and document is basically the same thing. And so it's a file that you have in your project, and it can be like an animation, it can be a scene, a tile map, an entity type, or it could also be a texture as well. Those are the types that I have right now. And so request document type by ID, that is like a variation of request document by ID. It's just like a convenience function. Like you request a document with a specific type, and you supply the ID to grab, like the document ID. Let's see, and now this is also a scene document. There we go. Okay. Okay, so now we have that available here as well. So now we are using that to grab the thing. Yeah, okay, so now that should be fixed. Yeah, but yeah, everything is called like document, but you can see here, this is the asset manager, is like, or asset library or whatever. This is where you have all the files. So right now these are folders, and if I go into, for example, entities, now these are documents / assets, is the same thing. And so they also have a type, so they are entity types. So the asset type or document type is entity type in this case. And yeah, so you request a document and you supply the type. So you wanna where is that? Oh yeah, it's this here. So but for now I wanna have a scene, and I get the scene ID. And what I'm doing also, now my LSP crashed because I went into this file, but I'm gonna show here. So you can supply a comtime tag, which is an enum value, and then you can use standard meta.tag payload to actually get the type of the tag out. And that's how we're doing it here. So we're basically supplying the tag, and you get sort of the inner type out of that enum value. So you get a different type depending on which enum tag you're sending in. You get a different resulting type there. And then these types are defined here. So you have all these types of documents here. And here you can see the enum as well. So you supply scene, you get a scene document out, and so forth. I'm personally learning Raylib. I thought it was shit back then, but now I'm more in favor of it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a simple library, but it's very easy to use. I used to write my own renders. Oh, okay, cool. Well, this is kind of my it's sort of my first sort of serious project, I would say, in game development. And I mean, I decided to use Raylib just to get a quick start. And I'm not sure if I'm actually gonna replace it. Not likely. I think because you can also supply like shaders and stuff. So there are like a lot of possibilities as well. It's simple, but it's also if you're doing simple things, you don't really need much more, I don't think. But we'll see what kind of stuff we're gonna bump into on the way. Are you using Zig as well? Or what language are you using? Scene, YouTube. C. Okay, cool. I was gonna say I see, and now I said it, so there we go. There's that. Now let's see if this works. There we go. Now it works. Okay, so now I can select those entities. Yeah. Okay. So now we have. Okay. Yeah. One last thing. We need a button to accept the entity that we're selected. So let's do that. So also I did try to use like the Raylib ImGui version, or I mean the Raylib sort of Raylib's version of immediate UI, but it was a bit of a hassle to use. I don't think it's like fully realized yet, so I actually tried a couple of different libraries and I stuck with this one. It's ImGui, which works pretty well, I think. But then I'm using also Raylib to draw textures and stuff, so I have to use like I'm using also, where is it, RL ImGui, which is a compatibility library as well in C. So I'm using that to like render Raylib textures in ImGui. So yeah, but once you get set it up, it's like it works pretty good together, and once you know how to use it. But I'm not sure like how feasible it is to use those kind of libraries when you're doing, if you want to do like a real nice sort of user interface on your own, or if, because it is like customizable thing and stuff, and you get a lot of stuff for free. But yeah. You're using it to teach C? Which one? Raylib or Imgui or Raylib? Ah, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean it's very simple. Imgui is not your favorite type of library? Okay. So, would you prefer another type of UI library? And what would that be? Not that easy you want to customize? Yeah. I've customized a little bit like the colors and stuff, but there's not a lot of options. Custom widgets with animations. Oh. Yeah, I don't want to touch that. I'll keep the simple things. At least with this. I mean, I was actually looking for, because I'm a web developer, and first I was looking for a way to render HTML in Zig, but it was kind of weird and convoluted. So, and it was like you had to basically have JavaScript in there, and I wanted to basically have, let's say you have like a HTML and CSS, but the code is not JavaScript, it's actually like Zig instead. That would be really cool. But because then you get like a very powerful way of rendering UI, but you can use a better or a more fun programming language. I mean, I could do this all in sort of, I mean, a web way instead, but that it's I don't know, it's more fun doing it this way. I was up this started wanting to create games. I got into game engine dev in like 2017, so I learned C++. Okay. And then you got into web stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah, I wanted to get into game dev at first as well, but I ended up in web development. Golang. Okay. I've not delved into that much. A little bit, but not much. So yeah, I'm very familiar with that. So I could have built this a lot quicker in that, but I'm trying to learn Zig, and I love exploring new stuff. So this is perfect for me. Let's see. So what kind of games are you making? Okay, yeah, we need a button, that's right. Issue with Golang, XCs are kind of big and it's not really native language, even though it pretends to be. It's not native. Top-down zombie game. Okay. Like, is it like Survivors? Heavy runtime. Yeah. But it does compile down to an actual assembly program. machine code. I don't know yet. I want to make it first RPG, but I decided to make it on. Yeah. Cool. I'm not sure about my game either. It's like I know I want it to be like a Metroidvania, but the sort of final. I'm trying to make it grow organically, basically. Okay, where can we fit this button in here? Let's just put it at the top, I guess, maybe. Because it's not visible at the bottom. Or we could put it to the right of the image, I guess. Where is that? It's down here. Render scene. Yeah. Let's actually do like same line. I need to restart this. Well, oops. And I mean, maybe it was a little bit too much to start with a Metroidvania. It feels like it's gonna be huge. I'm aiming for just, you know, having like maybe one area with one boss first, and then we'll see how far it goes. But I really want to make the whole game. But it's like I want to make a finished game. That's my goal. But maybe it was maybe making a little less ambition would be good as well. But yeah, I'm trying to just keep on going and see where we land. Tetris, Tic-Tac-Toe, Snake, yeah. I mean, I've made Tetris, I guess, as well, but it just didn't feel like a full project. Somehow, it's like, I don't know. Making only engines, then I was like, gonna go make money. So I tried to diversify my knowledge, started to learn networking, and it was like, oh, okay. Wishing I could work on a game full time. Okay, so what are you working otherwise? I guess you have a day job or something. Okay, let's make a button here. Let's only have it if we actually have a thing. Let's do it down here actually. Oops. SaaS business and freelance. Oh, okay. Cool. I need money. Yeah. Me too. I wish I could also work full time on my game, but yeah, have to use the spare time. Where I'm at, but only got into programming my games. Yeah. I'm a web developer, so I work at a company to make web development. So I'm actually employed right now, but I have been freelancing before, but I found a good employer, so where I can work basically 100% remote almost. So it's really nice to get some time over when you don't have to commute. That's really nice. Working remote is like it's really. it's really uncommon from where I am right now. So I'm really lucky to have this. Stitching seeds and friends. I don't lose my mind. C++. I mean, I feel like some things in C++ is really nice, but then it's like you really feel the oldness of those languages of like C or C++. You don't touch JavaScript, so how do you do? Oh, okay. So are you just doing the backend stuff, or how do you do the front end stuff? Or are you just using like, hyperscript? Okay. I've not tried that. I have tried HTMX, but it's like every time I try the HTMX, I feel like I'm building a new backend sort of engine for it to make it work how I want it to work. I guess I'm so used to having like, you can import components and you can compose and you can render HTML. I mean, I guess you could use like a, what's it called, like Mustache or something like that, like a template library or something like that. But it's like, I don't know, it's templating, but it's like I want more, I don't know, type safety and stuff like that. I feel like I'm so used to React that where you get that sort of stuff, and I don't know, React and TypeScript. That's what I'm doing in my job, so it's like I'm very used to that, and yeah. But I really like how HTML, I like some parts of HTMX, how you just, some parts is like extremely easy to do. But then as soon as it gets a little bit more complicated, it feels like, oh, they have to build some super advanced thing just to do what you want to do. What is fiber? Yeah, simple sites dashboard. Yeah, that's probably a very good use case for it. I used to do component library. I used to use a component library. Oh, okay, like Material UI or something like that. That's actually a good thing about HTMX. You can use. I want to get more into like web components, like. But it just feels so clunky though. Type safety. Oh, okay. In Go. Okay, cool. But what is fiber? If you heard a-h/tempo. I mean, doesn't Go have like oh, okay. Doesn't Go have like its own templating thing? Yeah. Actually, I guess we want to have this. Okay, now you can click the button. Yeah, the best thing, if you can use the built-in stuff, it's always the best to use, because then especially for like if other people's gonna read your code. What that thing did basically was own language. Basically, Golang syntax should embedding HTML got compiled to Golang and then link with your project. Okay. So to give you like type safety and stuff. Yeah. I mean, if it works good, then I guess it's nice, but if it's just a hassle, then generate Golang functions for your components. Okay. So from the backend, or yeah. Change into a template and seeing the results immediately. Yeah. Very good extra part. Okay. Yeah, that's also, I think, like development experience. Like, yeah. Is that good with Golang? Like the other, if you're using like the built-in, does it have like hot module reload or something like that? And with HTMX and stuff, how does that work? With Fiber, okay. Okay, nice. Let's see, what happens if you press accept? We want to do C document set. No, not C document. Well, yeah. No, wait. It's gonna be. Wait, where? Okay, this is gonna be a bit tricky. How do we say we wanna have this basically in the property editor? We wanna basically have the result somewhere. How do we pass the result back to the property editor is the question here. Reparse the file on every request. It's good for iteration. Yes. That's almost like a requirement for me nowadays. Like as soon as you edit a file, it has to be quick, and you have to see like the results. Or you can refresh very quickly. That works too. But it's better with hot module reload. If it works, that is. Sometimes you get into some weird states. But so how would we send that somewhere? I guess we could set it in the document data here. Whoops. We could set it here. We could set like the target property. Or wait. No. Property. Now, how would we actually do this? Go is very good to work with. Project will get the 5,000 lines. I will be using before. SAS, no bullshit. Oh, SAS. Yeah, I've actually moved away from those things. Like now I just use pure CSS. It's just a hassle. Like, oh, okay, the other thing I'm using is like sometimes I'm using Tailwind, but it's really not necessary, you know. It's kind of nice for theming, but now you can just use CSS variables. So my build time is like a few seconds. Oh. Yeah, I mean it's all, everything is relative. You know. But yeah. I have to figure this out. I have to. So once we where is that thing? Here. So once this happens, what do we want to do? How do we set this? How do we know? We have to like maybe we just have a pointer that we put the ID into. Yeah, why not? Like a target. And set target. Oh yeah, so if okay. Actually, let's set let's set the this to, I mean, we want to get it, so there we go. Okay. So we set it to this. Then we do clear this afterwards. I don't know. Okay, and then we close the window. So we say close the window. There we go. All right. Okay. So now if we go to our dear property window thing. Actually, you know what? When we open, we also provide the target here. So target ID is this. And so we say target is equal to target ID. There we go. All right, and now here the target ID is I guess we have two target ID. We have scene and entity, so yeah. Actually, yeah. We have entity. I realize this is getting a bit nuts. We should probably have our own struct for this, but yeah. I'm not gonna do it right now. I just want to get this working and then we can fix it later. So this would be, let's do target scene ID and target entity ID. So target, so scene, target, entity, target, okay, and then the set thing. I mean, I guess we could call this like commit instead, because we already have the data. I guess we can also clear it or whatever. Commit, and then target scene. So this is the scene target, and then this would be done. I'm gonna grab this as well. So the scene target is gonna be get scene thing, and this is now like or else unreachable. So we do that, and then this is entity. There we go. All right, and let's make yeah, because the accept button doesn't show unless you see unless you actually have a thing set here. So you press accept, it's gonna commit that. We don't actually need this anymore. And then we're clearing it and we're closing the window. Okay. And then in the open thing, now we have to provide the target scene ID and the target entity ID. And this will be you. And you. And hopefully this is like not since it's like nullable, I hope it works. It should work, I hope. Did I? No. Okay, what's the issue? Layout property 161 expected. Okay, it is an issue, I think, yeah. So, okay, how do you fix this? Because it's like, if it's null, I mean, we wanna... Wait, how do you fix this? So the issue here is like... I mean, I guess we could change the type of this. What if, I mean... It feels like you should be able to send into a nullable as well, right? Because that's how you set it. Since we're using UIDs for entities, the UID is, I can show you here, is this struct here, which is basically, this is the only thing it has. It has UID here, which is a UID.UID. This is like a library, and this type is actually just a unsigned integer with 128 bits. So that's all it is, actually. So it's not like yeah. So it's like what do you call it? It contains enough information to actually have a UID. And then you can serialize it to a string and back. So when I save the data in a JSON format, it shows up as a string, you know, a UID string. But then when we read it in, it's converted into 128, and that's like it makes it. I mean, it's not really. I guess I don't know if it's a super big problem or something, but it makes it a little bit faster to index on it and stuff like that. Alright, yeah, an auto increment. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just a choice, I guess. I don't know. I haven't thought that deep about it. I'm just using the UIDs because they are easy to like generate, and I don't need other state to do it, basically. Yeah, it's sort of ingrained now and into the project and stuff. So, but yeah, it's like it's not really that it doesn't really take up memory because it's just a U128. So it's not really, we're not keeping the strings in memory. I guess it's a little bit like if you wanna like human find something based on an ID, it's a little bit more inconvenient because it's a huge thing that you have to look at, and it's when you look at it in the editor, it looks kind of bad, you know, seeing a UID instead of like a number maybe, but yeah, so that's actually a good point for using like an auto increment, something like that. But yeah. You won't have 2 to the power of 128 entities. Yeah, I know. It's what I say. You can use it. Yeah. That is correct. That is very true. It's good, but it does require a little bit of more things in it. I mean, it works for now. Maybe I'll change it in the future. We'll see. Unless you're not reusing IDs. Well, the idea is more like you just generate an ID, and I'm sure there's gonna be a minuscule, an infinitesimal risk of getting a collision, basically. But yeah. Yeah, the reason why it's 128 is, I guess it's just because it's our UUID, and 128 is like, yeah, it says here, can guarantee uniqueness across space and time. This is from the library, so. But yeah, it's not really a huge thing. Maybe I'll change it in the future because it does make sense to have to have like a more human readable ID as well. But I'm not really gonna use. It's more for debugging. If you're gonna end up in a situation where you actually have to deal with the IDs, then it's more for actually debugging and see, okay, did I actually put this to the correct entity or whatever, or which entity is this, or stuff like that. So, because I'm gonna do it so that for the editor, for example, like the IDs are gonna be, or the entities are gonna be connected through these like custom properties that you're gonna have. So they're gonna be sort of, you can connect an entity to another entity, like say a button to a door, and then in the editor you can actually see which entity it's connected to, because it knows that you have a property which is an entity reference property, and then that entity reference, that's what I'm building right now. So then that entity reference is connected to another entity, and it knows which entity it is because it has the scene ID and the entity ID, so it can actually just render that entity for you and can see exactly which entity it is, and you can like jump to that entity if you want and stuff like that. That's the idea that I'm gonna implement there. In your actual game, only thing IDs are really used for cross-reference that you have. Yeah. Where one entity is following another entity and stuff like that. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't see it as a huge issue. But anyway, so what's the issue? Layout 161. Oh yeah. So the issue here is like I have a pointer that's type UUID, but I'm supplying a pointer to a nullable of UUID, and it doesn't like that. So either I can look up this case, because it feels like this should be a common enough case that there should be some information about it, or I can just bang my head against the wall. I'm just gonna Google it real quick here. So Zig pointer to nullable I'm just gonna read through a little bit here. Access we can do reference. Yes. No, I want to like set the thing. Okay. This point effectively outside values. Yeah. So what if you have like a pointer to a nullable? Turn away the access by your values uses therefore, many programs prefer to copying the value to new location by accessing values of pointers. We're going to talk about move operation. I don't want to move anything. What? No, this is. Oh, 6.1 constant versus variable objects. No types of pointer, no pointer arithmetic, no optionals. Okay, so optional pointers, no, not optional pointers. Okay, so I didn't get anything here. I don't think. I just skimmed through it, but I'm not seeing anything like a pointer to an optional. Optional. It's not an optional pointer. It's okay, so we have an optional. Yeah, here we go. And then you have a function that takes a pointer to that, but then it's like, I don't think you can do this. The thing is, I think nullables or optionals are it's like a different struct, I think. I'm not sure exactly, actually. The or else. I like the or else. Yeah, I love it. I love the or else. I mean, it's a little bit non-terse, but it's very nice. Although I do miss some of the constructs that also are in other languages, such as the question mark dot operator on like an object or something. Yeah, question mark dot. That one does not really exist here. You have to do an if and then capture if it's a null, or if it's not a null, I mean, and then you capture the value and then you can do something, and then you have an else where you do something else. So that, but it's like, it would be a lot more terse if you could do question mark dot. But okay, so this one is like, you're doing this. I'm not sure if you can do this. As I said, hello, take a point of debate on your fine. Okay. Initialize payload. I mean, you're saying undefined as this. I'm not sure what's happening here. Intent initialize payload C code. So, oh, okay. So you're like unwrapping it, and then making it a pointer. I wish in C they had the Elvis operator, because you have to use an if right now. Yeah. It's a really nice operator. Have a nice day, Polaris. Thank you. You too. Make sure to see. Okay. I think it's weird with the current semantics and initial abstract to find value options. Okay, let's see what's happening. I agree this would be useful. I wasn't there as previously allowed. Document said dot is equal to or else unreachable. I had assumed that or else returns value. Yeah, because it's like, if it's null, then we want to populate it with something when it's populated. If it's not null, then we also want to. It's like it. How do you do this? Is it not doable? Do I have to make the type? I have to change the type basically. Building function is supposed to take Elvire's magic. Okay. Okay. Okay, and that's. Wait, what's this? Okay, I don't know. Let's just change the type, I guess, and we can make if we really need a different version, we can do that as well. But let's do this then. Wait, you are a pointer to a nullable. You are a nullable to a. Okay, so these also need to be this. Okay. Expected one argument from 0. Okay. All right. Let's see. You. Okay, yeah. So let's do like spacing, I don't know, 8 or something. I mean, I really like the switches, like tagged unions in Zig are amazing. That's like my most used feature, I think. Okay, let's see here. Okay, now we should get a button somewhere. There we go. It's up there. Okay, and then we accept, and there you go. Now we set these things down here. Okay. And I realized that if, let's say you do this and you change the scene, it's gonna, I think this is gonna like crash or something, I don't know. Oh, maybe it doesn't actually. It only shows for the current scene. Okay, yeah. Because it's the scene that has the actual UI state as well. Okay, nice. But what if you go to another scene? And no, that's still gonna be like. And let's say we add a button. Yeah, I mean that's that also works. Okay, it's all contained. Okay, cool. So, yeah, cool. Now we have set. Now this is connected to this. So I think the next step is to be able to sort of go to that. Well, now we can actually, this is referenced from here, so we can actually go there. We can add a button here that says go to entity or select entity or something, and it will open the scene and go to that entity. you could also let's say we hover over this, you show like a preview of the thing if it's like in a different location, or it can draw like a line to the thing that is connected to, or something like that. You can do a whole bunch of stuff with this, and it's all like fully customizable. These properties are custom for each entity, so yeah, that's really nice. The editor doesn't really know that this is a button. It doesn't know that this is a door. So the only thing it knows is like this is connected to this, so it can make assumptions based on that. And then you can like show this interface in that way, without the editor knowing why it's connected or anything like that. So okay, very cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be happy with that. No memory leaks. That's also nice. Let's go to the to-do and let's see, where are we? Man, we're starting to get like a whole bunch of stuff in here. Entity type editor. No, not entity type. Scene editor, yeah. So set entity, that's done now. Okay, cool. Now next thing here would be like showing like entity, like the target or entity reference preview. Something to show where it is, and also button to go to entity reference. Yeah. And once that is done, oh yeah, and then we also have, I think we want to add scale vector for all entities. Now, and then once we have that, then we can generalize the entrance and exit entities as well. And then all entities are basically generalized. So that's nice. Okay. But yeah, that's gonna be all that I have time for today. So thank you very much for watching and joining and chatting with me. Thank you, Baby Yoda. Maybe I'll see you later. But for now, have a nice day and see ya. Bye bye.